I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Vita and Chip and Colby.
A band we've never done before.
I knew you were going there with it. So I'm going to join in.
Ministry. Go ahead, brother minister.
Yeah.
Ministry is industrial. I know that because of Azul. Because she's into industrial stuff.
And did she mention this one?
Well, I mean, everybody talks about Ministry.
You're right. New wave, early, industrial, electronic, mid, industrial rock, metal, later. Oh, when they were early.
Early is new wave, industrial electronic is mid, and then... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
It's so funny because, like, if I can just be completely honest, those breakdowns, they're not important to me.
They're important to me.
I know they're important to you, but they're not important to me. There's two categories for me. Do I like the song or do I not? And that's it.
Okay.
Very simplistic.
Well, the history of the thing is cool. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like...
Some of the
bands like, Ozzy and, like, the people that started the stuff, like, that's really cool to me. Because... the more and more you dig into it, the more and more you're like, whoa, we didn't know anything. And whoa, like this influenced that and that influenced that. And the reason I like that guy was because of this band and da-da-da. So that stuff's important to me. But these guys, like, I'm pretty sure they were, you know, influential or whatever. Like, these are another, like, genre starting group, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard at all anything about them, so I'm curious.
Yeah, you wouldn't, you plebe. Have I heard the song before? No, but I still know more than you.
Oh my gosh.
Who am I acting like? Dorian.
All right, ready? Go.
They realize it's their last goddamn chance. Kill him!
You will not kill!
I want peace. You want peace.
I can't hear you! I still can't hear you!
Glee!
Like
Yes,
you.
applause!
Yup. Yes, the whole thing was fun.
Man.
And then at the end, it sounded like they were running a power drill.
Yeah. This is
Power to the people. You don't know which side of their mouth they're talking from today.
I definitely feel like I could see why this band like this style of music.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's crazy.
It's exciting.
We did Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
You know, which is just technical metal.
Yeah.
You know, and this is completely different.
Yeah.
You know, like 3 or 4 riffs, if that. But it's just
Doesn't matter to me. It went in the like it category.
It's a different, it's just a different way of doing things. This is mind-blowingly good music, man.
Did you see them? One is smoking on the stage, the other one's drinking. I'm like, you're not gonna last long doing that.
Thieves! And I love the way his voice was amazing.
Yes.
Because I could hear kind of an accent. You don't know!
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy because when I was, like I said, all I knew was Korn and Slipknot, especially Slipknot. So I was like, oh, if you're going to be heavy, you're just going to go.
I feel like you're mocking them when you do that.
No, it's just, it's just raw, But there are so many different vocal styles that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of felt like a little bit like 1984-ish. We're against the government.
Yeah.
You can't trust them.
Yeah.
They're full of lies and.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
Yeah, I would have really.
And the crowd, man.
Where was Ministry when I was?
Did you see the crowd? They were all like.
I know.
They were moving around like they were liking it.
Where was Ministry when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Good Lord, this would have
Screaming.
been oh man, this would have been so good for me.
Yeah.
Hypocrites, thieves, liars, murderers, and allowed to get up.
Hypocrites, bastards.
That would have been really fun to be at that show.
Oh yeah.
When he says get up and everybody's like jumping.
Guys, I love the way you go. You know what's crazy?
Right here.
He is, then look at them all. He doesn't even look angry when he's singing it.
I know. That's his thing. I definitely see some Marilyn Manson here.
Yes, I
know?
thought the same thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this guy was Bafal.
Yeah.
He was in 89. And of course, Manson went and did something completely he built on it. Mm-hmm. But I definitely see some influences here, especially the hat.
Yeah.
The little cap.
Yep.
Get up! You know, I love
Didn't
that.
Manson have them little glasses like that?
Yeah. He definitely took some of the aesthetic there.
Yeah.
And like I said, Manson like went and did something like
Yeah.
he went a different direction with it, and it was clearly distinctly his. But
But this
I definitely see some of that right
yeah,
there.
I do.
But
I do. I liked it.
You know, like there are a couple songs that are like just really good for a live show, and this is one of them. If I knew this music and I went to a live show, I would be so hyped for this song.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I would lose my freaking mind for this song because
Yeah.
it's like thieves, liars, and murderers, hypocrites, and bastards. And love to get up. I'd been like, yeah.
like, I'll see you in the back.
Yeah, I loved it. Get up. Get on your feet. Hey, thanks for nothing. Morals in the dust. Morals in the dust. Two-faced bastards and sycophants. No trust.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like, thank you. Thanks for nothing. You've left
That's
us.
such a funny phrase.
You've
Thanks for
left,
nothing.
yeah, you've left us a world with no freaking morals and just two-faced, duplicitous, lying, hypocritical bastards and sycophants.
Yeah.
No trust. We don't trust you,
No, you can't.
Mr. Trump.
And that's why it's gotten so easy for, and not, we're not. I'm not even just talking about like the actual.
We don't
political
trust
leaders.
you, Miss
Even
Pelosi.
Even the you know the newscast. You know, like when they're putting out the news and they slant it one way or the other depending on which channel you're watching.
It's
Like,
unbelievable.
it makes everybody feel like, wait a minute.
It's unbelievable.
And so then Trump can come in and say, you know, fake news and all that whenever
There
they
were-
say something against him,
Yeah,
and
there was-
people.
Yeah, there were some stories. Remember that time I showed you, like, it was like headline news on CNN? I said, now go to Fox.
Yeah, and it wasn't there.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then vice versa.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's unbelievable.
Why can't you just be honest and actually report the news?
Yeah.
No.
And you're supposed to just, you know, just take whatever they say and go along with the party line. And God forbid you don't do that.
Yeah.
That's where the sycophantic stuff comes in, because you're just supposed to just be completely, you're just supposed to suck up and say, oh yeah. You know, like if you're black, you're just supposed to worship Obama.
Right. Yeah.
We're fighting for the liberation of our minds, not for the liberation of this pig and
Racist
society. Amen. Ain't that the truth? I looked that up to see if it was like a Malcolm phrase, but it wasn't. But, you know, it's really interesting because it has these random lines throughout the song. And, like, especially, like, if you look at the very, very end, like, power to the people, blah, 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 police officer. But, like, it seemed random, but, like, the music was timed to it.
I want peace.
See that?
You want peace.
So it seems random, but they like worked it into into the music.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, this is music with an actual. This is a real message. They're trying to say something. And it's interesting because when you open up your music to hearing to like sampling select lines, you can really say something.
Yeah.
It adds a different level of communication. Do you want peace? I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. You know?
Yeah.
I want, the guy is saying I want peace, and then the other guy is saying, do you want peace? And I can't hear, I can't hear you. Because of like.
Oh, I thought he was asking the crowd.
Well, I mean, either way, but if you just look at it within the story of the song, it's like, power to the people, police officer, you will not kill. And the guy saying he wants peace, and the question is, do you want peace? The guy saying, yeah, and the other guy saying, I can't hear you, can't hear, because the other guy doesn't want peace. And so he doesn't want to hear the other guy saying he wants peace so that he can justify whatever he's about to do.
Right.
Which is kill him! I hope they realize this is their last chance. Kill him! Kill!
Yep.
Good Lord. What in the world? What a terrible world that this guy has painted with his lyrics. But, I mean, I think everybody kind of has that like moment of awakening when you're young where you... It's a real traumatic thing when you realize that your parents are not these superheroes that you thought that they were. And when you're young, you know, when you're 4 or 5, you think your dad is superhuman. And then you start noticing that your dad's not following through on everything he says, or he's hypocritical here, or you know, I forgot. There's one story somebody told that was really significant to them, where their parents they'd get you get a phone call.
Yeah. What do you mean?
And they'd say, you know, is so and so here?
Yeah.
And so the phone would ring, and then the dad was saying, if it's Jim, tell him I'm not here.
Oh yeah.
And that was the moment for the kid where he was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And then his mom picked up the phone and said, hi, Jim. Ron isn't here. And then the kid's like, shit. Mom is in on the show. You know, and we're just so used to doing that to people or whatever that you wouldn't do that. I know, but my point is, like, we don't think it's that big of a deal, but to this, it was a moment for this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made him start questioning everything about his parents. Mm-hmm. And he's like, wait a second. And then after a while, you know, you hit that preteen, teen years, and you're like, oh, my parents are hypocrites, da-da-da-da. And then you run into other people, and they're like, but wait, there's ball.
Yep.
And then, look at these politicians. And then you go, whoa, everybody's freaking lying to me. It's really destabilizing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
Because as a parent, when that kid is looking at you like you're a superhuman,
Yeah.
most parents just suck it up. Oh, yeah, you know, they don't stop their kid and say, hey, wait a second. You know, which
It's not like that.
right, which is you know, you've heard me having conversations with Dorian when he was really young, and I was saying, look, Dad's a sinner. Mm-hmm. Like I've got millions of problems. What are you talking about? Mm-hmm. He's like, what are you talking about? You know,
Not father.
not father. Right? And so, like, we really go out of our way, and, you know, we would apologize to the kids and everything. Mm-hmm. Like, we go out of our way
I don't like doing it, but yeah.
we go out of our way to show them that we're not perfect.
Right.
Because, you know, it's a pretty, of course, we've got a whole template. Mm-hmm. Again, this is where Christianity becomes very convenient. Mm-hmm. We've got a whole template to handle that stuff. But I think there's a lot of parents where I don't even think it's on their radar to make sure that their kid understands that they're not a perfect person. Mm-hmm. Because that moment, if the kid has to find that out for himself, mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty terrible moment. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of rock and roll is designed to capture that emotion. Mm-hmm. You know, that feeling of, geez,
yeah,
my parents are,
yeah,
you know.
It's funny because having that moment with my parents was not when I realized the government, that to me was what was destabilizing.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you realize that about the government?
I was pretty old.
Like, what happened? What made you realize it?
I think that it was just discussions that, honestly, I think it was discussions that you and I were having. And then I started realizing, like, well, what do you mean? Like, they're not telling the truth? Like I couldn't fathom. I literally thought the news had to tell the actual truth, and that they weren't biased one way or the other. Like, it was just the news. And then, like, I remember when you were showing me that stuff, and I think it was before that, though, like, you know, with 9/11 and everything that was happening there, and then hearing conspiracy theories and all these different things, and, like, and then, like, that was probably around when I first started hearing, like, no, like, the government does shisty stuff behind closed doors that we don't know about, and then they paint it to look one way, but it's actually something else. Like, I thought that those were just, like, I saw those theories sometimes in movies, but, like, you know, but it wasn't something that I actually thought even was something. What's that place that they call it, like, where they say, like, that they'll put, like, alien gear? It's like
Area 51?
Yeah, Area 51. Like, you would see different stuff about Area 51 and stuff like that. But at that point, you know, like, I didn't even think there was even such a thing, you know what I mean, as you were the first person that was, like, that talked about, like, a theory of aliens that, like, was something that was like, oh, that's a possibility. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean?
Well, when you're talking about, like, beings outside of, you know, where we are and stuff like that, like, it was like talking about unicorns to me before. So, like, when I started realizing that, okay, well, these things are, like, possibilities, like, that the government is doing different things, and they have different dead spots where nobody knows what's going on, and people can get snatched and brought, you know what I mean? Like, just all these different things that the government... Yeah,
websites.
Stuff like that, when you're finding out what the government could possibly be doing that they're not telling us about, and then you realize that they can't tell you some stuff because... a mass panic and how people react and, you know, stuff like that. You're like, okay, well, that's legitimate. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you start to say to yourself, they could lie to us about a lot of stuff.
You don't say.
Like, a lot. And then seeing, like, the Hillary stuff back to back, her landing over there, and then her saying what happened. And
Yeah,
you're like, are you serious?
She's dodging that sniper fire.
No, you collected a flower from that poor child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it was very disheartening to realize, like, and you know what? Bill Clinton probably had something to do with that as well. With his whole thing with, you know.
Miss Lewinsky?
Yeah, that whole thing. Like, when that whole thing was coming out, and, like, you know how I am about shame. Like, all that stuff got put out there, and everybody knew about it. That's what you were doing.
She put it out there.
Yeah, I know. It got put out there, but it still got put out there, and, like, you're the president, and...
Oh. Yeah.
your junk's all over the dress, and everybody's looking at the dress, and it just...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just kind of... You're like, oh, so you're not... Like, you used to look at the presidents, a list... I mean, you probably didn't.
I never looked at
the list of the presidents, it was like, oh... But then, like, after that, I was like, wait... And then I found out more stuff about Lincoln, and I was like, no. And then it just kind of like kept going down. But you were the reason why I started seeing so many things. I'm like, my whole world is crashing in on me.
Yeah, I was that teenager at the playground. I was like, yeah, you think that's bad? Ooh, look at this head.
Yeah. Anyway, I loved it. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of these Ministry people. So weird. What a weird band name.
I know.
Ministry? He's got all these things that they're saying. The cursing and everything, like the drinking and the smoking, and I don't know, it's just funny. We're gonna rip this motherfucker off. It's just, like what he's doing at the beginning in the video and stuff. It's just like, and then you have the band name Ministry. I just, it's weird.
But he's a smart lyricist. Inside, outside. Which side? You don't know. My side, your side, their side. We don't know. Mm-hmm. Which side are they? Which side are they? Which side of their mouth do you suppose that it came?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
That destabilizing confusion.
Yep.
That you have when you start to realize that, you know, and then you take it all the way to the moon landing. You don't think the moon landing happened.
Yeah, because then you just start like, you just
and then it's like
everything.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, come on, and then you're like, well, wait a second. How do you know? You saw a couple videos. I mean, most people. If you say, I don't really think the moon landing happened, they'll laugh at you, and then you say, what's your empirical data that happened? They're like, well, yeah, and they really don't have anything. They really don't. It's like, it's bananas to me. Like, I believe fully that the moon landing happened, but the only reason I believe it is because our government said it happened.
What was the technology that they said they no longer have?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff. This is a sign of the Joe Rogan show. Like, there were a couple weird things because Rogan was trying to like laughing at the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Well, what about this?" And Rogan was like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait a second.
You should watch that one if you get the chance. Check out that Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
like
seriously, like 90% of the stuff you believe is because an authority figure told you, and you didn't do any like real hardcore research yourself.
We're trying to beat the Russians, and so like.
Yeah, we
had cause for.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then when he says, "Which side of the grass is greener?" I've always liked that concept because I've seen it over and over in my own life, where something seems so good, and then when you actually are there, you're like, "Yeah, it's not as good as I thought it was gonna be." So then when they're saying which side is greener, like. I don't know if he's saying which side of their mouth when they're saying this or when they're saying that, or if he's saying this political side or that political side. Which side is really greener? Because they're all friggin' lying to us.
Well, I think the grass is greener has to do with like Madison Avenue You know, it's that song with Lupe Fiasco when he was talking about they tease you with the upper crust. You know, it's like you're constantly wanting something else, and they constantly present something to you as, oh, this will make you happy. Mm-hmm. So I think half of this is about the government, and then half of this is about what happens with media and advertising and telling you, you need this, you need that, you need this car, you deserve this, blah, 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 blah. That's gonna make you happy. So
that feels like it came out of left field. Because we weren't talking about the media or advertisements. We were talking about...
we were kind of talking about media, because when you talk about CNN and Fox, that's media.
Yeah, but I mean media is in... Yeah.
It's about what influences you to believe certain things or hold to certain things, and getting to the point where you're like, man, I don't believe any of you guys anymore. I don't believe none of you. I don't believe... And it's like questioning all these authorities. Why are you... I remember talking to Elio Mike. Elio Mike is my guy, but he was like... If a cop feels threatened, he has the right to shoot someone. And I said, well, if I feel threatened by a cop, do I have the right to shoot him? Of course, I've got very good reasons to feel threatened by a cop.
Yeah.
He's like, well, no, you can't do... Wait a second here.
Right.
So if he's scared, he can body me on the streets with no repercussions, but if I'm scared, I just gotta
He's
risk
an authority figure.
Yeah, so it's like, wait a second. Where are you guys getting all this authority? Like, the anarchists, like, I think Noam Chomsky is as close as I'll be to an anarchist, which is basically, he said something that was really profound to me. He said something to the effect of, I don't believe in complete chaos, but I do believe in making authority figures justify their authority.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's true. Because we need a reset. Because there are institutions in our country that have authority unquestioned. Like, what do you mean you can shoot me if you're scared of... What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're walking around with body armor. Like, if anybody should... If between the two of us, if anybody should have that, it's me.
Yeah.
You got a fighting chance. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this is a good song. I love this song, and I'm very happy that this was our introduction to ministry. What do you give it? It's a 10 for me.
I'm pretty sure it's a 10.
This is a 10 for me. This is a freaking classic song.
Yeah.
This is a really good song. I will listen to it.
Yeah.
This is one of those, you know, when I get my leg fixed, this is going on the running playlist for sure.
There you go.
Iron Maiden and then Ministry.
Yeah.
Who suggested that to us? Was that Damon?
I don't know who exactly it was, but we've got a team of people that's trying to help us get more stuff into our main stage. So shout out to you guys.
For sure. Vin out.
Sori out.
Go.
We are fighting for the liberation of man, not the liberation of these pigs. The race is